4 terrifying and formidable women from American history. Before we start, I would want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Beyond Crazy. 4. Mary Mallon. By this point in the list, we've learned all about woe-inducing women and murderous mavens intent on harming others purposely, often for profit. But what happens when the terrifying woman doesn't think she's committing an evil act at all? Such was the case with Irish-born immigrant Mary Mallon in the late 19th century. You might know her best as Typhoid Mary, and her cautionary tale is unsettling on several levels. Mary was born in Ireland and moved to New York City in the late 1800s, where she worked as a cook and servant for several families. While in her domestic position, she became known for her rare trait of being a completely asymptomatic carrier of typhoid. New York was being ravaged by the bacterial disease at the time. Mary could spread it to others, but it didn't affect her personally. As typhoid ripped through NYC, public health officials began tracking down the spread. One rich family that had been affected even hired a sanitary engineer to look into its cause. He traced the disease back to Mary Mallon. Soon, city officials were at her doorstep demanding she quarantine herself. By 1907, Typhoid Mary was in full quarantine. 3 years later, a new health commissioner demanded she never again work as a cook or servant. But Mallon didn't listen. After that initial typhoid scare died down, she returned to work at a maternity hospital. Working as a cook there, she spread typhoid around to several patients who were already in vulnerable states with their immune systems. 3. Delphine LaLaurie. Delphine LaLaurie was a Creole woman who was a well-known socialite in 19th century New Orleans. She resided in the affluent French Quarter with her third husband, Dr. Leonard Louis Nicolas LaLaurie. Like many other residents at the time, they had multiple slaves working at their estate. However, rumors of the mistreatment of enslaved people by the LaLauries had been circulating since the late 1820s. In 1834, firefighters arrived at the LaLaurie mansion to put out a horrible inferno. They found an elderly woman chained to the kitchen stove. She claimed she had intentionally set the fire to kill herself and alleged she had been mistreated. An investigation uncovered a horrific scene in a hidden chamber deep in the bowels of the home. There, 7 slaves had been mutilated and chained against their will. Multiple graves were also found in the mansion's yard. The exact number of bodies was unclear due to conflicting news reports, but rumors around New Orleans held that dozens had died at the evil socialite's hands. After the fire, tales of Madame LaLaurie chasing a young slave girl surfaced too. As the legend went, the girl's fatal fall from the roof came about after LaLaurie's advances. The accuracy of that event was never proven beyond a doubt, but the rumors stuck. Plus, the discovery of the mutilated and chained slaves in the home's secret chamber confirmed the rumors of mistreatment. 2. Emma Goldman. Emma Goldman was a woman ahead of her time. She was a strong and opinionated figure who was both loved and loathed for her radical views. Born in Russia in 1869, Goldman was heavily influenced by the social and political turmoil of her childhood. In her teens, her family chose to move from Russia to the United States. It was here, after 1885, that she first became horrified by the oppressive conditions faced by laborers across the country. She was also repulsed by the violent pushback business owners showed against labor organizers. These experiences quickly led her to become an outspoken anarchist. Very soon, Goldman's anarchism made her a target of government officials. They viewed her as a dangerous and subversive figure. Her charismatic personality, eloquent speeches, and willingness to engage in violence made her an even greater threat. In 1892, she was involved in the attempted assassination of businessman Henry Clay Frick. Several years later, she was even implicated in the tragic murder of President William McKinley. Despite her radical views and involvement in violent acts, Goldman was a fierce advocate for freedom of speech. She also supported other notions which were shocking at the time, including women's suffrage, labor union participation, and sexual freedom. She was frequently arrested and even banned from lecturing on these topics. State and local governments and business owners alike began to greatly fear Goldman. 1. Mother Jones. Just like Emma Goldman, the legacy of Mary Harris Jones is one of a fierce and fiery labor organizer and social activist who struck fear into the hearts of business owners and lax government officials. Best known as Mother Jones, she was a labor organizer and social activist who fought for workers' rights in the U.S. in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Born in Ireland in 1837, Jones emigrated to Canada with her family as a child. Soon after, she moved to the United States, where she married and had 4 children. Tragedy struck when her husband and all 4 of her children died from yellow fever in 1867. Jones relocated to Chicago to start anew. Sadly, her nascent sewing business was destroyed in the Great Fire of 1871. Determined to continue her work, Jones became involved with social organizations and labor organizing. By the end of the 19th century, she had become a veteran of hundreds of worker strikes against big business. In West Virginia, Jones was involved in a violent coal workers' strike that led to her being sentenced to 20 years in prison for conspiracy to commit murder. The governor later commuted her sentence, but her activism habits stuck. Despite her boundary-pushing work, Jones was known to be surprisingly conservative in other areas. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.